Marijuana charges dismissed. What Maricopa County is doing following the passage of Prop 207.
The disruption that's occurring and continues to occur within the White House only serves to make the rest of us who did vote for Vice President Biden know that we did the right thing.
Plus, Cindy McCain speaks out why she says her late husband would be pleased with the election results.
And later this half hour on Break It Down, how people with ethnic names are often invalidated.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Megan Marples.
And I'm Spencer Hardenberg. Thank you for joining us. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris are beginning their first steps to transition into the White House, even though President Donald Trump is refusing to concede. That's right, Biden was projected to win the presidency on Saturday despite Trump continuing to contest the outcome with the claims of corruption and voter fraud. A new batch of votes from Maricopa County released last night puts Biden's lead below 15,000 votes in his bid to win Arizona's 11 Electoral College votes.
Following the passage of Prop 207, which allows anyone 21 or older to legally have up to 1 ounce of cannabis, Maricopa County announced they'll dismiss all pending charges of possession of pot and paraphernalia. Abigail Verowick explains how the process will work. Abby?
Deputy county attorneys will start filing motions today to dismiss all pending and unfiled charges. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office plans to individually review each case for dismissal. Cases that include other felony charges will not be entirely dismissed. However, the charges covered by Prop 207 will be dropped. With almost 60% of voters supporting the proposition on the ballot, office spokeswoman Jennifer Lewer says they decided to make the change now.
We feel that it was important to begin the process now because the will of the voters has spoken and they believe that these particular charges are no longer a crime. So this office will not be moving forward with those cases. It takes a lot of resources to prosecute a criminal case. And with the decision made last week in Arizona by voters, we believe that those resources should be used in other ways.
The proposition will also allow people to expunge a conviction that they have on their record. This process will begin as soon as summer 2021. The legalization of marijuana in Arizona has been predicted to generate upwards of $300 million annually for the state. In the newsroom, Abigail Verwick, Cronkite News.
This is the first time in 24 years that Arizona has flipped blue in the election, and the Latino vote played a pivotal role in deciding who won the Grand Canyon state. In this election, the Latino vote was key for both parties. Nonpartisan organizations like Mi Familia Vota promoted Latino participation in this election. Christian Avila says that this year they had to take a different route in the way they work, launching the campaign Basta Trump, or in English, Enough Trump.
And the reason why Basta Trump, the campaign Basta Trump came about, it wasn't because he's Republican, but rather because of his attacks on the Latino community.
According to the Pew Research Center in Arizona, 24% of eligible voters are from members of the Latino community. Republican Jose Borrajero says those who voted for Joe Biden did so because they didn't know the work of the Republican Party.
If they were aware of it, they would be knocking on our doors to vote for Trump.
The bipartisan Arizona Latino Legislative Caucus, with 28 members from both the State House and Senate, released a statement on the election. This election saw record Latino voter turnout in Arizona in unprecedented engagement from volunteers in Latino communities, especially young people, many voting and getting involved civically for the first time. Their voices have made an indelible impact on our state. Borrajero says his party has failed to reach Latinos.
The Republican Party has not done a very good job of proclaiming what they've done in favor of the Latino community.
For Cesar Chavez, re-elected Democrat, the results of this election are unprecedented.
I've never seen the amount of Latinos come out and vote for a candidate, and not only just one candidate, but for candidates that are actually going to make a difference in our community.
Cindy McCain is speaking out about election 2020, saying her late husband, Senator John McCain, would be pleased with the outcome.
I think my husband would be very pleased. As you know, we were good friends and with the Bidens, and I just know he's looking down and going, you did the right thing. And I'm so happy to be here, and I'm very honored to be part of the transition.
It was just 12 years ago that Senator McCain conceded the presidential race to then President-elect Barack Obama and his running mate, Joe Biden. Have a listen.
I had the honor of calling Senator Barack Obama to congratulate him, please, to congratulate him on being elected the next president of the country that we both love. Senator Obama has achieved a great thing for himself and for his country. I urge all Americans who supported me to join me in not just congratulating him, but offering our next president our goodwill and earnest effort to find ways to come together.
Cindy McCain says although Biden and her husband often disagreed, they worked together to get things done for the good of the country.
Now, with many ballots still left to be counted and races not officially called in Arizona, it is important to note that this newscast was taped earlier in the afternoon. Now, at the time of our taping, the results we are reporting here were up to date. However, in a still fluid election season, results may change. And to track the latest on election 2020 results, just go to our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org. There's another fight in Washington, but this one's been going on for some time now, the fight over the Affordable Care Act. For the 7th time, the Supreme Court heard a case today challenging Obamacare, but advocates fear a newly conservative court could finally overturn the law this time. Cronkite News reporter Tina Giuliano was there.
The justices weren't actually in the building to hear today's arguments for the Affordable Care Act. They held the case virtually. But that didn't stop supporters from showing up to make sure that their voices were heard.
In the midst of the upbeat music, worry was in the air.
I'm concerned, but, I hope that there's a way that they can work together to not completely gut the ACA.
But that's what the people here fear, that the latest challenge to the ACA will end up with the law being completely overturned.
Health insurance isn't a privilege. It's a basic human right.
Opponents of the law did not turn out today, while everyone here seemed to have a story about how the ACA has protected them.
It's just overwhelming what that did for the world, for our culture and our society.
The ACA, also known as Obamacare, led to a sharp increase in the number of Americans with health insurance, much of it subsidized.
It speaks for itself, Affordable Care Act. A lot of people can't afford health care, so you have some people that, they go to the doctor, they get billed, and then they're in debt for the rest of their lives, but you don't want to die, so it's like I'd rather take being in debt than dying.
For Robeson, the health care law took away a lot of worry.
And Obamacare has been just such a wonderful relief.
But one part of the law requiring people to have insurance or pay a penalty has been ruled unconstitutional by lower courts, and the people here worry that there is no plan B.
And there's nothing in place to offer as an option.
45 hasn't presented one page of a substitute or a substitute for the ACA or any ideas to make it better in 4 years.
President-elect Joe Biden said today that he would work as hard for health care for all Americans as he would for his own family. Advocates here say they're still worried.
There's a lot that we've had to be worried about, and it's not done yet. And even when our president-elect is in place, he needs a lot of help.
The ruling isn't expected until months after this hearing. In Washington, Tina Giuliano, Cronkite News.
Biden's comments today came just hours after the Supreme Court hearing ended, and he claimed the majority of Americans want to keep the protections of the ACA. But Biden conceded that preserving Obamacare will not be an easy fight if Republicans can maintain a thin majority in the Senate.
COVID-19 cases continue to climb across the country. Here in Arizona, there has been more than 250,000 infections and more than 6,000 virus-related deaths. But health officials are optimistic about a vaccine. So the question is, will people take it when it becomes available? According to a recent study in the medical journal Pediatrics, 20% of parents in the U.S. are vaccine hesitant. That means 1 in 5 children has a parent who is concerned about the long-term side effects of vaccines. Vaccine hesitant parents were also more likely to have children under the age of 6 or be the parents of 3 or more children.
COVID-19 has affected several events this year, but that won't stop the group honoring America's veterans from having their annual Phoenix Veterans Day Parade. It'll just look slightly different this year, as tomorrow's event will be virtual. Instead of having marching bands and crowds cheering, HAV is holding a live stream TV show. The theme this year is USA, a Beacon of Liberty, which they believe is true to its name due to this year's pandemic. Viewers will get to find out the winners of the HAV's annual essay contest for Phoenix high schoolers and hear patriotic stories of 7 veterans who served in the United States military from World War II to now. As for Veterans Day Parade in Tucson, it has been canceled.
Is for whatever reason, it helps them heal. You know, when you're serving in the military, it's not always easy. You're away from family, you're away from friends, you're away from our country, and you're doing things that you may not, always have the thought that you would do. And to come back and to be welcomed home and to get a thank you just means the world to them.
The Phoenix Veterans Day event will be broadcast on Channel 3 as well as Channel 11 city stations, and there will be a live stream on HAV's Facebook and YouTube page. Make sure to tune in at 11 a.m. tomorrow to honor all who have fought and are still fighting for our nation.
Well, today is a special day for one branch of the military. The U.S. Marine Corps is celebrating its 245th birthday. The Marines usually hold an annual military ball to celebrate, but due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it's been canceled. So to make up for it, the Marine Corps held a special birthday cake cutting ceremony to honor all past and present Devil Dogs.
Coming up next on Cronkite News, Marvel has created a new comic book featuring Native American characters. What Indigenous Voices hopes to do by featuring the work of Native artists next.
Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. And when you support your local station, you can get PBS Passport, giving you access to more episodes, more specials, more of what you love. Ready to watch the best of PBS anytime, anywhere, on nearly any device? It's easy with the free PBS Video app. Simply download the PBS Video app on your mobile or streaming device. Now you can watch the latest PBS episodes or catch up on the shows you missed. Discover new favorites from PBS and local content from your PBS station.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves. You know, I don't go anywhere without my passport. And now, thanks to PBS Passport, you can travel with me and watch all 10 seasons of Rick Steves Europe and all my travel specials. This exclusive streaming service is just for our members. Not only can you see all my shows, but you can see thousands of hours of your favorite public television shows. Become a member today and get your passport.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
Here at Cronkite News, we have producers who craft shows that make an impact on our community. Our broadcasts allow students to be involved in all levels of production, from producing to directing. We are guided by highly respected professionals who mentor the journalists of tomorrow. From technical directing to teleprompting and beyond, our production crew works tirelessly to produce meaningful and award-winning shows. We are Cronkite News on Arizona PBS.
Marvel Comics plans to release a new series named Indigenous Voices during this month, which is Native Heritage Month. As Mackenzie Allen Charmley reports, it will feature Native characters and artists in hopes of improving authentic representation.
Thor is from Asgard. Captain Marvel is from an intergalactic empire. But if you want to find a comic book character from a Native American community, you'll have to turn a lot of pages. Marvel Comics plans to change that with the release of Indigenous voices. Navajo comic book artist Keith Jim grew up on comics and is looking forward to seeing the characters the artists create. He's excited for the artists to bring a level of authenticity to characters.
I can't wait for it to come out and just to see how it should have been from the start. How, Native Americans should have been represented from the start.
Cab Comics, located in Flagstaff, is the closest Arizona comic book store to the Navajo Nation. Cab Comics owner Corey Bushnell hopes the series will help educate customers on Indigenous cultures.
It's something that we're excited to have in the store and excited to help encourage people to know about. And other people, like, this is a special issue from, Marvel with Indigenous people. And people who don't normally would know, it's also encouraging people to learn more.
Even though Indigenous characters in Marvel Comics already exist, they're often depicted with stereotypes, wearing clothing such as feathers or loincloths, and are primarily featured as side characters.
Anthony Thibodeau specialized in Indian arts and culture at the Museum of Northern Arizona. He says that cliches in past comics portray Native people in a negative light.
Any character that was a non-white character, usually they were represented in a really stereotypical way, either through their clothing, a lot of times through the way they talk and their accent. Native cultures are vibrant, living cultures that are still evolving. But I think it is a good step, especially having these writers and artists interpret these characters to, bring a better sense of representation into mainstream pop culture than there has been.
Jim emphasized the need for Native cultures, art, and stories to continue to be heard.
Sometimes I feel like we're forgotten, we are still here, so it's important to, stand up.
Mackenzie Owen Charmley, Cronkite News.
The series will be available to the public in comic book stores throughout the nation later this November.
That is it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you guys for joining us.